Hello, it is I, IARESMART, and Andor is almost perfect. I just have one small problem with it, and I'll tell you about it at the end of this video. However, first, I'm just going to give you a broad overview, spoiler-free review of Andor, because holy crap, this series is good. I was so right about this series. I was right. I was so right about this series. Dude, I made a prediction video before it came out saying how great this show was going to be, and it was so great, and I'm so right, and I'm always right, and you should always trust me. You need to like, comment, and subscribe right now, because I'm always right, and you're always wrong. I'm just kidding. So anyway, Andor, oh my god, it's so good, man. It's so good. Seriously, if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's not for everybody, though. That's a little disclaimer I'm going to put in here. It's not for everyone. Not all fans are going to like this. It's more oriented for me. Big fans who have been big fans for a long time are a bit older. If you're a newer Star Wars fan, you're probably not going to like it. But I mean, even then, I think even if you're like fairly new to Star Wars, if you can appreciate, kind of nuanced, more character-driven stuff, not as, big action scenes, it's really good for that. Really good writing, really good directing, really good, all the good movie stuff. All the good cinematography, all that good stuff everyone always talks about that we need more of in Star Wars. We finally have it in Star Wars, and it's so great. It's so nice to finally have it. It's just so different from other Star Wars things, and that's really good. Because I've stated before that I really like parts of Episode 8, which is a very hated Star Wars movie. I really like parts of it because of the things it does differently. It does a lot of stuff bad, but it does certain things really differently. It just goes in a whole different direction, like, subverting your expectations or whatever. And I think that's cool. But Andor just does that, but it does it really, really well. And so I kind of like Episode 8 less now because of how good Andor is. Yeah, I'm saying that, right? So, it's so good. Okay, seriously, you need to watch it. If you're a Star Wars fan and you like that kind of stuff, if you can, sit through a show that's going to be a bit more slow-paced, very character-driven, not an action scene every episode, then that's what this show is. It's very good for that. But if you're a fan who's going to be like, no, I just want to turn my brain off. I just want to watch a Star Wars show that's got lightsabers and, the Force and all these funny haha things in it. That's not really what you're going to get out of Andor. You have to be able to appreciate the more subtle parts of Star Wars, and it's really good for that. So for someone like me, huge Star Wars fan, it's so great, and it's just so nice to have something more adult-oriented. Again, it's not like adults only. It's not like rated R Star Wars. It's not like we have people getting ripped in half and blood and guts everywhere. But it's more adult. Like it's more mature in the themes. It's about spy and espionage and like dark authoritarian stuff, and it's just really good. It's full of that stuff. You got to be a bit of an older audience, because I think like watching this, I was like, yeah, there's a ton of stuff that's gonna go way over kids' heads, and there really isn't that many big action scenes to keep kids entertained. I still think a bit older kids can enjoy it, like maybe like teenager kind of age, but I think it's more oriented at like 20. Oh, I'm 20. Yeah, 20-year-olds like me, and older fans. Like my dad really enjoyed it. He grew up with he went and watched Episode 7 in the theater when he was a kid. I'm not Episode 7. I mean, he went in 1977. He went to go see Star Wars in the theater. Jeez. Anyway, so he went and saw when he was a kid, and he really enjoyed this series. So you gotta be. So I think that kind of tells you it's like for people like me and people like my dad. If I were watching this probably 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it this much. So like if this came out when I was 10, yeah, I wouldn't have liked it as much. So I don't know. It's a really good series. So anyway, yeah, that's. If you're unsure about it, I can encourage you just watch the first 3 episodes. That's a whole arc. It introduces you to the show and the characters, some of the characters, not all of them, but more of them show up later. Introduces you to the show, and it's very slow paced and very character driven in the first 2 episodes. And the third one, you get an action scene at the end of it. But again, it's just this slow build up and a really cool payoff, which is the episode 3 action scene. So watch all those 3 episodes together. That's like 40 minutes each. So just watch those, and if you don't like it, you're not going to like the rest of the series. That's just, the whole series is very much like those first 3 episodes. That really introduces the series well, and it makes sense why they premiered with those 3 episodes. So, because even I know, like I watched episode 1, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm not really convinced on this. 2, I was like, wow, this show is really slow. But then I watched 3, I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now. It's so good. This show is incredible. So yeah, watch the first 3 episodes. If you don't like it, you're not gonna like the rest of the series. If you do like it, watch the rest of the series. It's so amazing and it's so worth it. There's so much setup and payoff, and it's just nice. There are a lot of unanswered questions, and they're leaving it for season 2, which has begun filming. They are making a season 2. It's going to come out probably not for another 2 years, but they are making it, which is really good, because there's so much stuff they left for season 2, so it's going to be incredible. Really can't wait for that. That's going to be so good. But really, though, genuinely, this is one of the greatest Star Wars things we've gotten in a while. So the rest of this video, I'm just going to talk about spoiler stuff. So if you have watched the series, then I'm just going to talk about spoilers, and you can enjoy. But if you haven't, then just go watch the series, okay? Anyway, it's spoiler time. So, the Death Star, alright? Look at the Death Star! They're building the Death Star! Oh my gosh, it was so cool, man. Dude, like, I had that post-credit scene spoiled for me, because flipping YouTube thumbnails, oh my goodness, I can't get over this. Like, it's literally like, it was yesterday. I just turned on YouTube. Literally the first thing on my little homepage on YouTube, where it's like right there, right? The little homepage on YouTube, right? Oh my goodness. There's a thumbnail, it was like, Andor post-credit scene, picture of the Death Star with all the rings, and I was like, dude, why? I literally saw it for a split second before almost throwing my phone across the room. I was like, oh, why? This was before I watched the episode, and then I watched it a couple hours later. It was still a cool reveal. The reveal that the parts they were building in the prison were actually for the Death Star, and then you have that zoom-out shot. It was so good, and it looked really good, too. The visual effects were really good on that scene. Like, we've had some kind of visual effects from Disney, especially on the Marvel side, but those visual effects look really good. It was really impressive the way they did Death Star. And also, just the show as a whole, didn't have very many visual effects, but when they did, they were really good. Like the Aldani scene, really good visual effects. I talked about all that stuff in my previous videos about Andor, but oh my goodness, dude, like, the Death Star, it's so cool. And it's just so crazy, because, like, they're making so many of this part, and you think, like, they gotta have, like, so many parts for the Death Star. Like, dude, the manual for that thing, it's gotta be, like, a bazillion pages long. You know, like, step 13 quintillion, place, you know, part number 2A7Z5 right here, and do this 30 bazillion times around in the ring. It's like, how do they even do that? How do you even, like, assemble that? That's so crazy. The logistics to put that thing. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So, the Death Star, that was just such a cool reveal to throw that in there at the end. So, really nice. And again, this show had a lot of, like, references and callbacks. It wasn't, they were saying, like, oh, it's not going to be crazy with Easter eggs and references. They were more subtle. Like, I talked previously about that scene with the door, where the camera, like, kind of pans away and it's the callback to A New Hope. Really cool. I'm glad they have stuff like that. That's just, it's just nice. It's so nice. Because it's not, like, crazy in your face. It's just subtle. And stuff people like me will appreciate. There was so much of that in these series, and I really loved it. So, again, just so cool. But anyway, episode 10, with that prison break, oh, dude. I still am not convinced if, I haven't decided if 10 or 12 is the best episode. 11 was still pretty good, but 10 or 12 is, 10 is definitely a strong contender for best episode, but 12 was also a really good finale. Everything just came together in the finale. It was so good, man. Oh my goodness. But yeah, the prison break, that was also really good. Really just satisfying. Because you have, like, the previous, like, 4, I think, episodes of him being in prison, all just building up to that prison break. It was so rewarding. Like, oh my goodness, it was so impressive. And to see Kino give this incredible speech, all for it just to have him be like, I can't swim. Like, broke my heart. Like, Kino, no. Kino, it's okay. We'll get you an inflatable tube, Kino. It's okay. We'll save you. So sad. But again, that was just such a crazy event. And you have all these rebels getting away, and we only saw 2. We literally only saw 2 get away after all that effort. We only saw Cassian and the other dude whose name I don't remember. But again, it's like, we don't know for certain. We saw them all go in different directions when they were swimming away from the prison. So maybe some of the other prisoners got out, but maybe they didn't. So I love that ambiguity they leave you with. Like, maybe Cassian and this other guy are the only survivors from that whole prison riot. So, I don't know, it's just crazy. And also the speech Kino gave was so good, dude. It was so cool. And also just Andy Serkis as Kino was just amazing. What a great performance by him. So that was really great. I'm glad we got to see that. So, what else? We have the ISB spy guy, right? He was going underground in the Coruscant underworld, then he goes to meet with Luthen. And Luthen gives such a good monologue, dude. That's gotta be like, monologues are great, dude. It's a thing when you know what it is, you notice them a lot more. Basically, it's just when one character just talks uninterrupted, no, like, back and forth, just them talking, no interruptions. Basically, like what I do. Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, so a monologue. Once you notice it, you see it in movies and plays and other stuff. But basically, a character just talks. Luthen gave such a good monologue, dude. It was so good. Oh my goodness, dude. He's talking about, like, What have I sacrificed? I can't even replicate it. It was so good. He's like, I give up my life for this rebellion that I'll never get, or I give my life for a sunrise I'll never get to see. Dude, literally writing like fire here. This is so good. This is amazing. I love it so much. Getting to see, what's his name? Sagura, that was cool. I mean, always, cool to see that guy. He's just a great, other side of the rebels, the more, crazy extremist side of the rebels. It's really nice to see. And also just the whole thing, we saw how Luthen, like, getting the rebellion started, it's not easy. Like, they have to cover their tracks at every single opportunity. The subtle things they do, like him being in his shop, and the way they, like, talk very carefully because they might be being watched, or, like, the way they just kind of, like, there's just so many subtle things that they do, and they have to always cover their tracks, and, like, they just like, hey, Cassian here's a loose end, we have to kill him. So then they're putting so much effort into fighting Cassian, all leading up to the finale, where they're like, yeah, we gotta kill this guy before the ISB can interrogate him and lead him to us. We have to kill him, so we're just gonna kill him. And, like, the whole thing with the Anto Krieger, again, a character we literally never saw. The show just kind of, like, kept talking about him, and was like, yeah, this is this rebel guy, and it's like, hey, we have to sacrifice him for the greater good. And then they keep arguing, like, do we really have to sacrifice him? And it's like, yeah, if we want to all not die, we have to let this guy and, like, 12 other people die. And it's like, geez, rebels are kind of dark. And it's just nice. Because in, like, the main 3 movies, the original trilogy, the rebels are all just whitewashed. Ooh, whoop-de-dee, we're the good guys. We're going to save the galaxy. Yay, we're so awesome. But this, we get to see more, like, the gritty side of the rebellion and the war. And it's so good. Also, another thing, the show makes the Empire so good. Like, it doesn't change the Empire. It doesn't just, like, they're still the Empire. And I still love them. But they just make them so good. They're an ever-present force oppressing the galaxy. We're so cool. Oh my goodness. It's just amazing. You get to see the ISB and the way they, like, how they deal with the rebel and the espionage and all the good stuff. I can't even get into all of it. It's so good. And the finale with the stormtroopers. Oh my goodness, dude. The stormtroopers, they hit their shots. Oh, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm so proud of them. They hit their shots. They killed all those civilians. I'm so proud of them. Oh my goodness, I'm so proud. I'm so happy. But seriously though, like, we've never had that where stormtroopers are not a joke. They weren't a joke. It wasn't like all the, it wasn't just like, you had all the civilians like, haha, I punched a stormtrooper. Ha, you're stupid. Ha, can't hit anything, stupid stormtrooper. It was like, ah, crap, the stormtroopers are shooting at us. We gotta get away. And then they're like hitting all their targets. They're an ever-present force. They're actually intimidating. They're being what they're supposed to be. Oh, finally. Again, another thing I mentioned in my prediction video for Andor, I really wanted this show to get stormtroopers right, and they did so well. They don't show up very often. We mostly see the Imperial Army, and then the stormtroopers are like the elites. They come in later. And also Death Troopers. We got to see the 2 Death Troopers that were flanking Dedra. Again, Dedra, such an incredible character. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so the Stormtroopers, this series did so much justice. And, oh, I'm so thankful. It's so amazing. I can't thank them enough for doing that. It's something I've asked for years, for Disney to make Stormtroopers right, and they finally did it with Andor. Oh my goodness. This show is so amazing. But anyway, oh my goodness, what was I saying? Dedra and Cyril. Weirdest ship ever. But, like, I totally ship them. That's amazing. Dude, Mans literally was just, like, so basically he's Cyril, right? He's a guy, he's working at, like, a security office thing or whatever, where they basically do nothing. He wants to do everything. He wants to be good at the job. Nobody else cares. So he's like, I'm gonna go prove myself. Fails miserably. Everything goes bad. He loses his job. He has to go live with his psycho mother, who is just evil. His mother is just awful. You hate her. Like, honestly, Cyril's mother is the true villain of the series. Forget the ISB. Forget anybody else. The real villain of the series is Cyril's mother. She is evil incarnate. Anyway, so he has to live with her, get a terrible job, and then one day he meets Dedra, the woman of his dreams. She's all authoritarian, and she's, loves order and, peace and prosperity and all that stuff. Oh my gosh, man's fawning over her. So anyway, he falls in love with her, follows her to work, and is like, hey, thank you for, like, working with me. We're both, like, we have so much in common. Like, we love the Empire. We want to capture this Cassian Andor guy. We should get married. I mean, get married. I mean, get married. I mean, get married. I mean, we should work together and get married. I mean, we should get married. Dude is insane. I love this guy. Biggest simp in Star Wars, besides me. So, I love it. I mentioned this in my last video. He's a simp. It's amazing. I'm glad we have a simp character in Star Wars. It's so cool. And then, in the finale, he gets his knight in shining armor moment. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. He got to be a knight in shining armor. He's like, oh no, they're attacking Dedra. And he, like, you know, pushes all this crowd away, you know, rescues her, captures, you know, takes her under his arm, brings her into the closet, and they have this intimate moment. Dude, I'm so proud of you, my man. You did it. You did it. You guys are gonna get married. You're gonna be so happy together. Oh man, I'm so proud of him. I'm so happy for Cyril. A lot of people don't like his character because they find him creepy. I just think it's so cool. Also, just impressive acting. I don't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, but him and Cyril, Cyril and Dedra, just incredible performance. I mean, incredible performance by pretty much everyone in this series. There really wasn't, like, a bad actor. Also, Mon Mothma, dude. Genevieve O'Reilly, actress name. She did such a good job. Really, really good. Like, probably one of the most stand-up performances, along with Diego Luna as Andor, and Stellan Skarsgård. I don't know how you say his name. But again, Luthen, just incredible. We really should have gotten more of Luthen. We didn't get... I think we should have had more of him. He did really good. But again, we got a lot of Mon Mothma, and that was great. That whole thing going on in the background where she's just giving up more and more. But, like, she has to, like, give up, like, you know... Oh, I gotta, you know, make this sacrifice to get, you know, help the rebellion. And I gotta, you know, do this thing. And my family doesn't like me anymore. And my daughter doesn't even trust me. And now I have to, you know, give her to this creep guy. That's one thing the couple things that I don't like about the series... You have to hark on every single word to catch some things. If you don't catch something, you're gonna miss a ton of stuff. Like, they kind of just introduce this character later on that, like, is like, oh, yeah, this guy's awful. He's a creep, you know? He wants to, you know, get his son to marry Mon Mothma's daughter, and he's, like, an awful guy. But it just kind of says he's an awful guy and never really gets into it. So, I feel like they should have explained that more. But again, they had so much going on in the series. And, like, also another thing was in episode 1, they introduced this idea that Cassian's looking for his sister, and then never brought that up again. And it's like, I mean, they did mention it, like, once or twice more, but they just never followed up on it, and it was like, what the heck? So that's probably my biggest criticism, is that sometimes the show can just gloss over things, because there's just so much they're trying to do at once. They're not going to do it all. But still, this show is very, very good. So, oh my gosh, what else did I talk about? I talked about Cyril, talked about Dedra, talked about Mon Mothma, talked about Andor, talked about Luthen. The whole Aldani heist, I talked about that before. That was incredible. Really good. ISB was cool. I think I've covered everything. This video's gone on for quite a while. If you're still here, thank you. And also, just thanks for letting me talk. I gotta talk about this stuff, man. It's so good. I loved Andor so much. I hope you liked it too. And I hope you got something out of this video. So anyway, I was gonna tell you something at the end. Yes, the biggest problem with Andor is that they never said, I have a bad feeling about this. What's up with that? What happened to this? This was like a sacred Star Wars tradition. But like none of the Star Wars shows have done anything. Maybe Mandalorian said it and I'm just forgetting. Book of Boba Fett didn't say it. Kenobi didn't say it. What happened? I have a bad feeling about this. This is like sacred Star Wars. Dude, even in episode 8, like, it's confirmed that BB-8 beeps, I have a bad feeling about this. And then Poe is like, happy beeps. So like it kind of counts. But still, at least there was something. You know, in Andor, there was nothing. Like, you could have had him entering the prison being like, I have a bad feeling about this. You could have had him, like, I don't know. You could have had, like, Cyril say, like, right before before, like, his operation went wrong. You could have been like, I have a bad feeling about this. You could have had, like, one of the characters from the heist say, I have a bad feeling about this. There were so many opportunities, but you didn't take it. And also, Wilhelm scream. You know, so the Wilhelm scream. You could have had that. Why didn't you have that? Ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, that's probably my biggest problem. They never said I have a bad thing about this. But anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. I just need to talk. Literally no script, no nothing. I just talk. Holy crap! I'm so good at talking, guys. That's a monologue right there. That's when a character just talks, no interruptions at all. I am so good. Good night, everyone. Actually, it's like daytime. It's not even good night. Anyway, whatever time you're watching this, bye.